When we change the way we look at things, the things you look at change. Guess what? When we change the way we look at the way we feel and experience stress, that is a massive indicator of the outcome and our physiology.
So Max, welcome back to our studios in Geneva. It's a pleasure to have you back. And today we're going to be talking about engagement and having motivation at work. So when it comes to being engaged and having drive, in your opinion, what is the biggest obstacle that people face?
Thanks, Celeste. It's great to be back. Good to see you again. And short answer, complacency about the status quo, I would say. I think too many of us are just out there doing that, well, this is life, c'est la vie, this is what's going on, and I can't change my life, I can't change my level of engagement, and they basically stick to it, right? And I think, an employee just going into their office on a daily basis, we know the numbers. It's just sad to hear the numbers every single time. Only 1 out of 10 is actually actively engaged. We already talked about this. And you see people stressed and worried about, am I going to be on the list of the people being redundant next time around? You walk by the office of the line managers or just mid-level managers, and they're trying to kind of hide in their little bubble and not take unnecessary action or stand up for their people so that they don't want to be ending up on the radar of somebody who wants to get rid of them. The funny thing is, guess what? You don't have this cape of invisibility, and you're not Harry Potter. Right? So you're not going to be invisible. On the other way around, you're going to be very much visible on the list of people not merely making a big difference, and you're going to make yourself very much expandable indeed. All right? So that's another side of the problem that we see. So the numbers are there, and what I really would like to see is that more people looking into the mirror and say, well, I've had enough of not feeling engaged, going to work. That's the majority, and I'm not going to blame my organization. There's a lot of blame to be passed around. I'm not going to blame my managers. I'm going to start changing as a first step.
And you kind of touched on what you were saying then about stress. And so a little bit of stress can be a good thing, can be a motivator, but too much stress can have the opposite effect. So how can you turn stress into a positive enforcement and a motivator?
Exactly. Now, this is another interesting area because we usually talk about negative stress versus positive stress. And guess what? I think mostly there's just stress. And what's really fascinating these days is that there's enough research to show that it's the way we look at research, not research, but stress, that really starts affecting things, right? I usually talk, when I'm talking about engagement, I say, when we change the way we look at things, the things you look at change. Guess what? When we change the way we look at the way we feel and experience stress, that is a massive indicator of the outcome and our physiology. So there's research showing that if you take that stress as very negative and destructive, and the source of it is not based on your passion and motivation and what drives you, then there is like a 30-40% plus high risk for you to kind of even die too early and too soon, and really affects your health, versus the other way around, that if you feel, and you've been told, and there are studies around this as well, if you've been told that, hey, this stress is good for you, it's going to release all the right kind of chemicals for you, and is your body's defense to manage this situation, when people are told that and face it in that perspective, they start performing better.
Yeah, so you've kind of talked about sort of getting over complacency and kind of making stress work for you, not against you. But are there other ways to promote engagement and drive in the workforce?
So simple things that you can start adapting already. We were talking about in the last couple of sessions, we've been talking about mindfulness and how you can change your mindset towards these things. And if you actually start looking at work, if you look at work just as work and a chore, versus if you just look at it as play, the same task could actually be more enjoyable just because you choose to look at it through a different lens, right? And there is, again, scientific research behind this saying that, hey, start gamifying. And that's why I think gamification is just growing all over the place, because, hey, start playing. I'm not saying every single aspect of your work could be enjoyed, but definitely, a lot of people are leaving a lot of good things out there that they could turn into an idea of, I'm just playing with this. I'm just going to perform it that way. So that would be one thing to do. The second thing would be to kind of, again, just say, I've had it. That's it. Right now, I'm going to take the decision to change something. And I'm going to really go in for it. And maybe even do something for yourself. Take a step that proves to yourself, purely symbolically, that I'm going to do this and I'm not going to stop until things start changing. So get fed up and decide that you've got to take action. Now, the third thing would be take the action that you know is based on the things that you can actually impact. So focus on what you can change. Most of us go around and worry about world politics. There's a lot of things to worry about. Or your immediate situations around you that you can't change. Focus on the things that we can change. So honestly, 3 easy steps. Play more. Say you're going to take action and start taking the action. And focus on the things you can change.
Well, you've definitely given us all a lot to work with to help promote our own engagement and drive at work. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Celeste. It's been a pleasure.
That's all from myself and Max today in the Geneva studio. But if you like this video, there are plenty more on our website, dugoscopy.tv.